Greetings. Look, I want to get on and make this video today to say that this is no joke. Okay, this is hard. This is something that's the most difficult thing that I've had to do in my life. Getting over these urges, getting over this addiction, leaving porn behind. It's hard. This is no joke. This takes strength, an insane amount of willpower, patience, and you have to manage your expectations. This is not something you're just going to get over and then boom, you're done. No, this is a battle. You're working, you got to think, look, how long have you been doing this? How long has it been an issue that you've been wanting to change? It might be decades. It was for me. And you have to work through decades of conditioning, of programming, not just your mind, physiological responses. Those are very hard because to a certain extent, it's out of your hands. You just have to manage your expectations and realize that this is not something that you're going to do overnight. It's going to be incredibly difficult. And making that first step to say that, okay, I'm done, I'm not going to do anymore, is not, it's a good start. And it's a good solution in that instance. But as the whole, there's still a lot of work to be done. That's a spark when you say, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to self-sabotage and destroy myself like that anymore in a non-constructive way. Because you can destroy yourself in a constructive way, but this is not something that's helpful. Okay, it's nothing that's helpful. You have to manage the expectations of realizing that there are going to be a lot of challenges. There are going to be a lot of things trying to put out that fire, that spark of hope of saying, I'm going to stop. And you're going to have to keep your fire going. You got to blow on it, give it resources to grow, protect it from the wind, and be ready for the rain. Because it will rain some days. And that's why I've been feeling like these last 2 days, they've been really hard. Last night, I just felt like my skin was crawling and I was restless. Like that. You just want to scratch. And I wanted to be alone. I was with my girlfriend. I wanted to be alone. And that day and earlier that day, I had thoughts. I have thoughts, little narrations that came up about the same old things about with porn. And the night before, I had a dream where at the end of the dream, the last thing I remember is I have this TV going on in this kind of like suburban home in this basement, and I'm watching it, and I'm watching for someone to make sure no one sees me watching it, and it's some pornography on the TV. So that, yeah, it didn't rub me well, like with the dreams and stuff, something I'm very into. So when I have a dream like that, it definitely affects me. So I had this urge, this feeling, and ultimately I went to go work out, and I was just doing some bench presses, but I was very frustrated. I was very frustrated in that moment. I was frustrated still that I felt weak because this was an issue, that this is something that came up again. There's a little bit of not hopelessness, but it just everything got a little bit dimmer. But I was doing it, I was sitting there doing that. After a while, I got up. I still felt like that the rest of the night. But I realized these feelings, and I've known this is a feeling that I've had similar before, and I isolated those events and learned how to deal with them, learn how to counter them. I tell myself, hey, this is thought. It might not necessarily be my thought. It's going to go away after a while if I don't look at it. If I don't give it my attention, it's going to shrivel up. You just have to know how to shift your attention. And to a certain extent, that requires discipline. So all of that to say, this is hard. I'm still struggling against this. But it's a beautiful, glorious struggle. It's like you're climbing a mountain. There's something to it, but at the top, you got that view. And at the top of this, You're going to have a view of yourself, your true self, getting deeper into your potential. Because it's so limiting. This is so limiting. And life that we have here, objectively, is a rough one. It's a lot of horrors, a lot of crazy challenges. Subjectively, of course, you can live an amazing life full of pleasure with numerous trials and challenges along the way. But there's no reason to make your life any harder than it has to be. I mean, we can agree, man. It's hard enough. It's a lot of stuff to juggle, especially our generation. It's a lot of stuff to juggle. I feel like every generation says that, but we were the guinea pigs for a lot of stuff, a lot, and our parents were as well, and their grandparents. So we're deep into it. Generationally, we're deep into it. That's why that's why I'm sitting here doing this. Everybody wants to escape. That's what pornography is. It's an escape because it demands your attention. You have to focus on it for it to work. And if you're not getting around it, if you're not getting aroused, then what's the point, right? So both those things is that biological and psychological combination is very strong, coupled with the attack that it has on your perception of yourself. What is it going to do if you're sitting there constantly watching other people engage in an act that you ultimately want to engage in? Or just simply be allowing yourself to become aroused by those types of images. You should be in control of your arousal. It shouldn't be, oh, I need to look at this or think about that. That's like, pornography is like a virus. And there's a video that I saw called the porn virus. It was one of those hypno videos. And I was like, that's aptly named. It's a virus. Just like you can have parasites and stuff on your body that are aversive to you that you don't need, you can have the same thing on your mind. You can have those same thing on the etheric, spiritual realm, whatever you want to call it, that higher essence that we have. And pornography is one of them for your mind, And it's we self-administer. We give it to ourselves. It doesn't give you anything. It just destroys your energy, time, and attention. Sucks it up like a vacuum. It doesn't offer you anything. You might think it's offering you arousal, but it's more of a backdrop, and that's all going on in your head. It doesn't give you anything. It's a parasite, and we have to wean ourselves off of it. We got to shield our bodies and kill off the infestation that we have that's inside of us. But like any other parasite, you have to go about it strategically. Because typically when those things die inside of you, their body is also a toxin. It's just something that's aversive. Their death and their remains, they release things. So that's how porn is. It's hard. But you can do it. You have to be diligent, and you have to do it. Because on a long enough timeline, you're going to get over this. All right? And I know that to be true. The trials that you're facing now, you're facing for a reason. It's a learning experience. And like in eternal high school, if you don't pass the class, you fail. You come back again next time around. You have to be your biggest cheerleader in this. That's not to say don't ask for help. That's not to say rely. Well, they just kind of say ultimately rely on yourself. Because no amount of guilt, shame, positive reinforcement will cause someone to change if they don't want to change themselves. So you got to make that choice. It's either now or later. All right.